booties for black girl nerds.
Mr.
Hey,
Elba,
hey.
thank you. A pleasure
Always,
as always. Thank you for your time.
always. Thank you.
So, man versus beast is a thing that's as natural to cinema, to time, to history. So, for your character, Dr. Nate Samuels, he's heading into on a vacation trip with his daughters in an attempt to reconnect them, and they encounter nature in a variety of ways. What do you think are the best tools that Dr. Nate takes with him to equip them for this battle they'll ultimately face while they're out there?
I'd say, the protective nature of fatherhood was the number one best tool for him out there. I don't think anything else prepared him for that. I think as a doctor, naturally, he, might be used to making big decisions in high pressure situations. But honestly, I think the number one tool was just, I'm a father and I will protect my kids. Yeah.
Mhm. There's a great deal of fear factor that we, the audience, get to share in with you as we watch your point of view, their point of view. When
Mhm.
you portray fear with people, it's a different energy than fear of animals or fear of the unknown. Where do you tap into fear for a project like this, where there's something out there the audience will see? How did you tap into that fearful place for this?
I really, there's so many layers to this film that I was a part of in terms of how we pulled this together technically, and also how we put it together as from the emotional journey and the story. And for me, that's what I sort of, really leaned into. What would you do? What would Jeandra do? Fear finds its way in so many different ways. People start laughing when they fear, and I try to examine it all. And where you have a situation where a family is together, we try to just be as honest to what that family dynamic might be. For me, I tapped into, I, I don't want to get eaten by anything, thank you very much. So, just reminding myself that that's what my motivation is, to get out of there.
When look along with that, your co-stars Iyana and Leah, I was very impressed with them, and we've seen you in films interacting with younger talent before, and the three of you had a beautiful camaraderie. What impresses you the most about working with younger talent? Because those young ladies were fantastic.
They
I
were great.
loved their chattiness. Just
Yeah.
they really made me think of my own child and how she would react in that type of situation.
Yeah, the professionalism, these kids, Iyana was a little more experienced than Leah, but they both brought professionalism at the A games. Their willingness to understand and learn and adapt. Neither of them had been to Africa before, and we were in the wilderness making this film, and they adapted, and it was really heartwarming to see that they really throw in their whole professionalism at this movie. We became a family, actually, on screen and off screen.
I love that it was the mother. What country was that? I'm
We
all for
shot
seeing
in,
the motherland.
yeah, we shot in Cape Town and Limpopo, which is like the southern tip of South Africa.
Well, I love that. Thanks for bringing that to the motherland. Thank you as always for your time. And this
Good
was a
seeing
lot
you
of
as
fun.
always. Thank
You're
you.
pretty
Thank
tough
you.
there. They're going to see how tough you are.
God
Thank you.
bless. See you later.
Sorry, my beast is feeling a little needy today, and I don't want him to bark. So he's going to participate in the interviews as well today. So thank you, ladies, for your time. I really enjoyed both of you in the film.
Thank you.
For beginning with just being in the savannah, people will watch this and think, oh, they're just on a soundstage. It's comfortable. But no, you guys were in South Africa filming and taking in the elements and the animals. Leah, what was your favorite part about filming just in that type of environment? How has it kind of transformed you as an actress to be able to shoot a film like this just out in the wilderness?
I have filmed on other sets before Beast, and they had told me to like be comedic, and they told me to be like scared sometimes. But Beast is something that really taught me everything. Like it gave me like the full effect of a real family. Like they gave me how to be like comedic. They gave me how to be scared, how to be fearful, how to also be independent, and how to really be strong and brave. And it taught me a lot of things on this set. And I really feel like it has made me improve on my acting a lot more in this on that set. Like Mr. Ball, if the acting for me or if the crying was like too fake or it didn't seem like it was real crying, he would literally tell me, he was like let's put more into this. He would give me techniques to even try it, and I've still learned from them now, and I'm still improving though. But I feel like Beast was just something that got me from 25% all the way up to like almost 75. So I've like went up a lot on my acting.
I like how you said that. You know, I think you did a wonderful job. I give you a good 90% up there. I thought you did a really beautiful job. And Iyana, over to you. Again, the animals are part of the story, but they're more of a catalyst for this family who's trying to reconnect after an incident has happened in their family, and a father and his daughters have gone to Africa to kind of reconnect and reestablish that bond. There's a lot of emotion that you have to portray: fear, sadness, hope. You know, when a day of filming was done for you, how did you release, you know, all of those emotions and unwind to keep going? Because it's pretty intense in addition to where you're filming.
Like you said, Mir definitely has like a very emotional journey. So whenever I would rap, I would just like head back to my apartment and I'd watch TV, some of my favorite shows, or like chat with my mom who was out there with me as well, and just do things that Iyana personally loves. Because again, Mir is very, she has a lot going on in her life, and I wanted to make sure I separate the two. I don't want to be too trapped into that character because she's sad at times. So just doing things that Iyana loved, even eating ice cream and going to like some of my favorite spots out there in South Africa, it made me feel happier again, you know?
Mhm. And lastly, Idris Elba. I mean, I think we all know who he is. He's, you know, a little bit popular. What's some of the best advice that did he give you any advice on longevity or just acting in general? Did he offer any advice to you that you found very helpful?
For me, I remember it was one day specifically. I had a challenging scene. It's actually when we are at the dinner table, and I was so nervous. I was just like, I don't know. I feel like my hands were shaking and everything. And he was like, Iyana, like it's okay. Don't be nervous. You got this. Like you're doing amazing. And he didn't have to say that. So for me, it's just like the words of affirmation that he gave that made me feel really good. I felt confident. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this.
Yes.
And Leah, for you?
For the things that Mr. Elba did to encourage me on this is because the first day, like that was my first day, so I didn't really have as much of like the courage for me to really do this part yet, and I was like, okay, let's get on this. And the first day actually was one of the most raging parts actually. So I was like, okay, I have to get ready for this. And I see him on the side and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, but I'm just really worried. He's like, everything's fine. He said just act like how you would if something really happened to you like this. He said never act like someone that you aren't. He said that whatever part that they give for you is actually supposed to be you. So in this part, and then he said one funny thing. He said actually in this movie, Nora is Leah. So because a lot of things in there was stuff that I would say literally, but in this part though, he really said a lot of good stuff to both of us to get us to where we are standing now.
Yeah, he's very positive, like such a joy to work with, and I think he helped both of us like grow in terms of acting.
Yes,
It's
and
a real
Sharlto
bond.
also.
Sharlto as well, yes.
Sharlto was really
Shout out to him. Well, you young ladies were excellent. I thank you so much for your time. I had a wonderful time watching both of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
This film, Man versus Beast, is a tale as old as time. And I enjoyed seeing the elements and the motherland and the savannah in the film Beast. When you think of your own kind of fear factor with animals, where does that begin and end for you? Because this is some up close and personal interaction with some of man's biggest beasts?
Well, I'm not a big fan of snakes, you know. Are you talking about metaphorical beasts? Of course, because we have all of those. That's life in general, one beast after the next. But actual animals, the most terrifying thing that was actually out there where we were shooting were black mambas. Now, the black mamba, I don't know if you know this, but it's actually, when I learned this, just useful information for you, they sort of an average of like 4 meters long. I don't know what that is in feet, but it's long. Basically, what that means is when it stands up looking at your eye height to strike you. It's not like a little snake down there. You know what I mean?
Sharlto, come on. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I'll cry.
See?
If the snake stands up and
And
looks me in my face.
It's looking in your face as it's deciding to bite. And if the fangs go deep enough, it can kill you instantly. A neurotoxic venomous snake can do that. I always thought you had an amount of time. So there's actually really worse things out there.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the snakes are like my least favorite. We had like a helicopter available in case anyone got bitten. Like that, I think they needed that for insurance. It was a real deal. We were really out in the bush. We saw some worm slangs, which were neurotoxic snakes, one morning. And then as we walk into set, they're like, just mind the snakes. They signed on the, because obviously we're very considerate of the environment. It's a real amazing game farm that we shot at. And yeah, you just like dodge the worm slung, 2 of them, you know, 2 little lovebirds sitting in there.
I'm glad you said that, because people will swear you guys were just on a sound stage and there was some fake plastic savanna grass out there, but you guys were really out there doing it and interacting with nature. And that is frightening. And salute to the late Kobe Bryant. That's the only black mamba that I like. That's in that case. So in that, you mentioned observing like animal behaviors and snakes standing up, you know. How did you push past the fear factor for this? Because how long did it take you to get acclimated and get ready to step into this Martin Battles role?
I actually, because I've grown up in South Africa, so snakes is basically my only one that I'm really, you know, not crazy about, but I still like, I've caught rattlesnakes at my house in Los Angeles. So like I've grown up, yeah, it's a different longer story, never mind that. I just did that to impress my neighbor because he expected me as a South African to do it. So I actually looked up on YouTube how to do that. So, but these are useful things in life when you come for a role like this. And then what I did was I was actually taking rides on a mountain bike through the park, through this, it's called Baobab Private Nature Reserve in South Africa. It's a spectacular wildlife reserve. And I would take rides on my mountain bike by myself in the mornings, and only the lions were in a protected area, but they had the rest of the big 5 that could sort of come at you. And it was just a real thing of psychologically, even a little warthog in the grass that comes running across the road can terrify you when you're just on a bike by yourself. It's really something else. It's not the same as you're totally safe when you're in a Jeep and you're on safari. Safaris are very safe. I'm a big fan of safaris. If you want the real experience, go on a walking safari. That gets more serious, or take a bike.
That sounds so beautiful and majestic. Maybe one day, hopefully one day I'll get to do it. And lastly, when you think of Beast and some of your favorite man versus animal films throughout time, what do you think Beast has most in common with those?
I'm not sure that Beast has, I think Beast is quite unique from other, you know, man versus animal films, in the sense that this is a movie that the beast is really behaving as it is because of man's behavior towards animals. Lions don't normally behave like this in the wild. People would look at this movie maybe and think, oh, you know, the lion's just going to attack us when we're on safari. They really don't. They'll really leave you alone and lie in the tree under the shade. Unless they were like super hungry, but there's enough food for it. They're really not like a threat to you. So this is a movie about a family. This is about a movie. There's real heart and soul at the movie's really about a man protecting his kids metaphorically from the beasts of life. They've gone through trauma in the past, and he's trying to step up and be the right kind of father. I think principally the film is more about that. So I'm not sure what you can really compare it to. I think it's a very unique spin on man versus beast movies.
Awesome. Well, salute to Martin. Martin was a real one for real. And I loved your part in it. So thank you so much for your time. This was a really fun movie. And you guys are some badasses for being out there in the wilderness.
Thank
That's
you. I'm
scary.
sorry if I was shouting louder. I suddenly noticed that because it's a Zoom, I'm projecting my voice more. I think I'm just used to doing that on Skype. For some reason, you talk louder. Do you guys do that as well? I'm not sure if everyone does that. I'm
I
just
do.
like, somehow I feel like I have to talk louder to reach you, but it's actually like you could really just have done the whole interview at this level. Bye.
Well, I thank you for the ASMR. Thank you.
Yes.
Take care.
Goodbye. Signing out from Black Girl Nerds. Bye.
Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.